What's going on YouTube? It's Gan and Mo. So we can all agree that 2020 has been one heck of a year. And no, we're not going to do some MTV recap in this video, but we do want to share some very important information concerning your student loans, some new updates. So you definitely want to stick around to the end of this video because there's some huge changes coming your way concerning your federal student loans.
As the 2020 presidential elections are heating up, the topic of student loans is definitely coming to the spotlight as a very important topic for young voters. Now, the former vice president and the current Democratic nominee, Joe Biden, has some very bold statements regarding student loan forgiveness. And to counter that, the current sitting president, Donald Trump, has some very big changes coming to the student loans as part of his budget proposal.
Now remember, in 2017, the Trump administration passed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which alongside provided two student loan related changes. Number one, total death and disability discharge are no longer taxable. Now, prior to this, forgiveness through this program was treated as taxable income. But keep in mind, this only affects loans that were taken on or after January 1st, 2018. And the second one, tuition and fee deductions are no longer available. But keep in mind that the student loan interest tax credit for now is still available under the current tax code.
Now, the White House just released their 2021 fiscal budget, and they called for a $66.6 billion to the Department of Education, which is $5.6 billion less than the current year. Amongst those changes are eliminating the public service loan forgiveness, which is a very controversial proposal. Now, according to the administration, they say that this program is very disorganized and does not offer any benefits to the current borrowers. Now, what he's proposing is a 15-year loan forgiveness to all federal student loan borrowers. Now, the repeal would not affect current public service loan forgiveness borrowers. It's part of their loan as part of a promissory note. However, they would not be offering that to any additional borrowers in the future. Now, as part of the 2021 budget proposal, it calls for eliminating the coverage on the subsidized student loans. And that means that the federal government is no longer willing to pay your interest on your federal student loans while you're in school. And to qualify, you still have to prove that you come from a low-income household.
However, keep in mind that these Stafford subsidized loans come with a really high interest rate, nearly 10.7%. which can cost borrowers nearly $27 billion over the course of 10 years, of the $254 billion in issuance over 10 years. Now, if your family income is really high, then you don't even qualify for these subsidized loans. So passing this in Congress is going to be a really difficult proposal. And now another key aspect to this proposal is that it will limit annual and lifetime student loan amounts for graduate and parent borrowers. It was designed to help parents and grandparents fund their dependent children or grandchildren's education, but that came at a cost, nearly 7% interest. Now, limitations to the Parent Plus loan would mitigate future financial burden for parents and grandparents looking to retire.
Now, the Graduate Plus loan allows students who are seeking higher education to get the money needed for that education. Now, putting a limit or capping that amount for those graduate students will hopefully put some pressure on those graduate programs to limit their tuition increases year after year. And keep in mind, as a side note, whether you're taking out a parental loan or whether you're taking out a graduate loan, you're always able to refinance those loans for rates as low as 1.89 as of today. Now, one big positive of this budget proposal is that it is geared and it does speak to the general population of student loan borrowers, aka undergraduate borrowers. Now, what it offers is 15 years of forgiveness after 15 years of continuous payments. And that is a 5 to 10 year time savings, which means that those undergraduate borrowers won't be saddled by those student loans for a very long time. So let's set the record straight. These are all proposals. Nothing has been finalized yet, and nobody has proposed to eliminate student loans completely. Now, nothing will be decided until next year, depending who ends up sitting in that Oval Office. But what you can do is exercise your rights, let your actions speak louder than words, and make sure you go vote come November.
And make sure your actions speak louder than your words by subscribing to our YouTube channel and leaving a comment down below on what your thoughts are on these new proposals. And of course, we'll see you next time with new updates of student loan forgiveness.